Hello everybody, welcome to another video of Reynaldo Chess Lesson. Today we are going to follow some requests of our followers of the YouTube channel in order to analyze one of the games of the Indian former world champion Viswanathan Anand. We are going to describe his style and also how to play like him. So Vishy Anand is an Indian chess grandmaster and former world chess champion. He becoming a grandmaster in the year 1988, and also is one of the few players in achieve the 2800 rating points. For today's game, we are going to analyze a game played for in the match for the world title against Vladimir Kranjnik in the round number 5. Here, this game was played in 2008, and Vichy have black pieces. Let's start with this. Kranjnik opened the game with d4. Normally, Vichy is a quite classical player. He used to play symmetrical. He likes some openings like the Petrov defense and also double queen's pawn against the d4 game. So c4, c6, Slav defense, knight f3, knight f6, knight c3, and here e6. So with this move, Vichy is changing the structure of the Slav defense to the semi-Slav because the bishop is inside the pawn chain. This structure looks a little bit ugly because seems to be like the bishop don't have any way to be developed. But in many cases, Black can capture on c4 and do the expansion with b5, followed by bishop b7. Typically, that's the way to play in the semi-Slav defense. So Kranjnik continue with e3. Here, other alternative, this move looks a little bit natural because leave the bishop inside. So normally, this move, it can be more logical in a first glance, but in this case, after a6, white is more or less forced to give away the bishop pair because in case of bishop h4, Black is ready to capture on c4 and to reinforce the pawn with b5. That is a theoretical variation, but where Black preserve some material advantage. So in order to avoid some gambits, e3 is really the most solid continuation. So knight bd7, and now bishop d3. Just in the moment when white moves the bishop, Black can capture on c4 to force the bishop to be moved twice, and now b5, enabling b7 for the bishop. So bishop d3, a6. This move is necessary to support the pawn on b5 to later be able to challenge the center with c5. So we have here e4. As there is no pawn on d5, typically white push the pawn to try to remove the knight, and without defender on the key inside these two bishops can be quite powerful, especially if Black decides to castle to the king. So c5 attacking the center, and here e5. So well, Black decides to kick the center, white continue with a counter attack. In this position, Black needs to be consistent with the plan, taking the pawn, creating counterplay. If white takes on f6, the knight on c3 is still under attack. So white have two main alternatives: knight e4, that is the old variation, and knight takes on b5, that is the main line really, known as the Blumenfeld variant. So after pawn takes f6, g takes f6. So here the position is quite dynamic. So far, Black have an extra pawn, but Black pawn structure really is very disorganized, a little bit overexpanded. In other hand, the pawn on f6 is controlling the knight, and also because of the double pawns, Black have an interesting semi-open file on the g. Here, white decides to castle. Important to mention that this pawn seems to be hanging, but we need to be careful with this fork winning a piece. So short castle. Now, as the king is not on e1, this can be considered as a threat. So Black developed the queen, hoping to connect the rooks and also defending the pawn on b6. Queen e2, attacking on b5, and now bishop b7. Here, in the moment of the game, this was a novelty. Typically, the main continuation is bishop a6, defending the pawn. But, thanks to the using of the engines and the resource, well, that year, bishop b7 continuing that kind of gambit style, but looking for create some intersection points on g2. So white decides to capture on b5, g8, and now bishop f4. Finally, with this move, white complete development, and also the idea is be able to restrict the bishop using the bishop as a blocker to avoid the pressure on the g5. So now as the bishop will be the defender, bishop d6 to continue the development, hoping to play king e7 and connect the rooks, and also ready to trade the defender. Why continue with the plan, using the bishops as the blocker of the g file, and now here f5, a very strong way to control to try to remove the blocker. For possible downside of the move, black is losing the control over the knight, but really at the moment, these two squares are very well covered by the black pieces. So f5 threatening f4, rook fc1, get rook to the open file, and now f4. Unique move for white, bishop h4. The position seems to be under control. Here, Vichy decides to play bishop e7. This move is aimed basically to remove the direct square bishop and also to be able to play king e7, because in this moment, black needs some coordination to connect the rooks, but this move is not possible because of the bishop. So with bishop e7, black is basically looking for remove the bishop, and also if white have to recapture here, eventually this possible advance with f3 hitting the queen and the pawn on g2 can be quite dangerous. So white play here a4 to create an output for the bishop, and bishop continue with the plan. Bishop takes h4, takes. Here at the moment, f3 is not possible because white can simply recapture with the knight and later with the queen. So finally, bishop did king e7, connecting the rooks and moving the king out of the fire line. Here there is, those position demands on accurate calculation. There is a check on f5, but I suppose that in case of that, the king can go forward. Paradoxically, it will be a safe location for the king. So here, Kranich did rook a3, hoping to activate the rook through the third rank. So as the rooks are disconnected, here Vichy decides to play rook a8. This was really the unique pieces at the moment that was not participating in the game. And also with this move, he's taking advantage of the fact that the rooks are disconnected. So at the moment, yeah, white have two connected pass pawns on the queens. So we can say that, you know, in case of massive simplifications, any endgame should be winning for white because of the outside pass pawn. For that reason, Kranich decides to trade a couple of rooks, and now he did this backward move to cover the back. But the position is still dynamic, and also the fact that white have potentially a better endgame don't necessarily means that we are going to get the endgame, because you know the queens are still on the board. So it's very important for Vichy to preserve the queens on the board unless he have something concrete. So queen c5. About this move, is just to increase the control on the board, and probably the queen can be transferred to the king. So queen g4, maybe preventing some queen g5 move. But now the queen was on the e5, leaving this square available, and Vichy decides to centralize it. You know, in a first glance, this move, it looks like don't have any idea so far, but really, you know, when the pieces are centralized, the pieces can keep everything connected and together. Also, it's making room for the rook, hoping to get some of the invasion squares on the c5. So knight f3, chasing the queen f6, square away of the knight, e1. Okay, we have here this x-ray, and now another move to improve the location of the pieces, rook c5. With this move, the rook can be transferred, okay, because here on c8 cannot be transferred to the g5. So here the rook is looking for some better alternative. At this moment, Vladimir Kranich was considering the possibility to sacrifice the knight, and after queen takes, rook d1 with a skewer, attacking the potentially the knight on d7. Sorry, not with the queen, with the bishop. Bishop and the rook. After the sacrifice, queen takes, d1, we have the skewer and the intersection point of d7. But in case of knight takes on d4, there is no blocker in the diagonal, and black can transfer the rook because the knight will be losing the control of the g5 square. For that reason here, Kranich did d4 in order to remove the rook, and now the pawn was on b2, left c3 available. Vichy decides to take the outputs, and here Kranich relying the fact that after the capture, in theory, the knight cannot be recaptured because of rook d1 with the counter on d7, but Vichy have a surprise for Vladimir. After knight takes, Vichy decides to capture, And after rook d1, here we have important in-between move, knight f6. So probably the calculation of Franklin was based that, okay, in this variant, black have in-between move, but the queens will be out of the board. So basically, white is getting the endgame with the two outside pass pawn, but these 3 pawns are blocking the king, so white have some background issues. And that is going to be a decisive factor after rook takes, knight takes e4. Okay, here white take the check to win, to restore the material balance, to win the bishop hanging. Rook d7, king f6 takes, and after the check, seems to be like white have everything under control with bishop f1. But here, white have black have a brilliant move to win the game, and really is the unique way to, yeah, probably to save the game and to win the game for black, because in other circumstances, two connected pass pawn will be enough to win the game for white. But here we are going to see the brilliant move and also, well, taking the outputs. Knight e3, a fantastic move. This is a move that seems to be that is not possible because the square is covered, but after pawn takes, e2 is incoming with a checkmate, or also just promoting, and white cannot do anything to prevent that. So after the sacrifice of the knight, taking the output followed by e2, e1, in this moment, Vladimir Kranich decides to resign. So about this game, we can highlight that the deep preparation with the use of the computers at that moment, 2005, 2008, I think, yeah, 2008, round number 5. Yeah, really in that match for the world title, I think that they play two semi-Slav defense, and in the two games, Vichy won in both cases. So, well, guys, I hope you enjoy the analyze and the comments of the game. Don't forget, if you enjoy the content, share and subscribe. Hope to see you in a new video. Thank you very much.